we can't talk. We can't turn this into the RoboCop podcast. The problem with that movie is it doesn't know what it wants to be. It travels to
satire.
Yeah. Like if it picked one and it stuck with it, it would be fun.
Because you have that scene, you're like, that's fucking horrifying, and then it's like 2 minutes later, there's Michael Keaton going like, he's 80s guy from Futurama, like he's like, we gotta do business now.
Well, that's because he's doing a version of the character from the original movie.
Yeah, that movie is two things trying to in the same space. So
I'm trying to remember, doesn't Michael Keaton have like a new thing that looks awesome?
That seems like the last decade of his career. So
Yeah.
That sounds familiar, like just that he has something new coming out, but I can't remember what. But with one last thing for Altered Carbon Season 1, if it'll get anybody else to watch it, because I mean, like I said, I enjoyed what I saw. I need to go back to it. But Thomas Jane is in it as well. Is he? I mean, I don't know for sure, but I mean, he's the rich guy who's trying to figure out who murdered his prior body.
No, that's not Thomas Jane. Actually, that's the dude who's in Resident Evil 1.
He's the guy in Resident Evil 1 I thought was Thomas Jane.
Okay, then my mistake. Yeah,
who is in Resident Evil 1? That's Thomas Jane.
He's the bad guy. He's the secret bad guy that you find out at the end because him and Alice are the people who are supposed to be protecting Umbrella.
He's her fake husband that they were actually banging.
Yeah. It's the only time a Resident Evil movie has gotten away with like a plot development where I was like, "That's interesting."
Yeah, or the movie has been like,
is Candyman in that one?
No.
It's the other black. It's the guy that's from Arrow, right? That was in the first season of Arrow.
It's what's her face's husband.
We talked about it.
Colin Salmon.
Yeah. He gets laser graded and turns into like Swiss cheese. Or he turns like dog kibble.
Turns into slightly or something. Like, and then he disappears.
Okay, so it's James Purefoy is the actor, and looking at his IMDb picture, he looks like a sleepy version of Thomas Jane.
Yeah, he's British Thomas Jane. And that's what.
I was thinking of Michael Keaton is Dumbo.
Okay. He is to Thomas Jane what Logan Marshall Green is to Tom Hardy.
Fair, and it works because Tom Hardy
as recently as a Laser Time episode. I was listening to them talk. Chris Antista was like, "Yeah, that movie Upgrade that also has Tom Hardy." I was like, "Oh, that's bad."
Yeah.
They're like, "It looks kind of like Venom." I'm like, "Ooh, you doubled down." It's neither of those things.
Yeah.
Also,
it's neither, but kind of both.
Yeah.
Isn't Simone Missick going to be in Altered Carbon?
Yes, they announced a bunch of other stuff. That Simone Missick is going to be on there, still getting that Netflix paycheck. Good on Netflix, actually.
They do that, like I was saying, they do that a lot because we were
our favorite reoccurring character. Yeah.
Me and my wife were watching.
You guys were talking to each other. I didn't hear that. Who is she?
Sexy Will Graham. She's
okay.
Yeah. She will be playing the same character, of course. It'll be great. Altered Carbon is part of the Marvel Netflix MCU.
It's a long story.
I really like her character too. So, she seems like a good actress. I follow her. But I was gonna say, me and my wife started watching Umbrella Academy, and she found an Easter egg that I would have never caught because she's a big Orange Is the New Black fan. Because one dude, I'm trying to figure out the guy that takes violin lessons is from Orange Is the New Black.
Oh, and yeah, he was.
He's married to the Italian-y chick.
Yep.
And his address,
the crazy one.
Yeah, the address where she lives is her last name.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
And she started laughing. I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh, that's that character's last name. I was like, oh, wow, that's an Easter egg. No, I would have never thought of.
No, I wouldn't have ever thought of that.
He's
okay.
Also in Jack Ryan. And he's actually really good in Jack Ryan, too, that guy.
Yeah. John Magaro.
Yeah. And then the one dude, I was like, why do I know this guy? Why does he sound like John Goodman? And then I was like, oh, shit, it's Ed Kemper.
Yep. It's Bumblebutt himself.
All this Tom Hardy talk. Not Tom Hardy. Tom Jane. All this Tom Hardy talk. Tom Jane is a pretty good segue into our next upsetting thing.
I mean, is it really upsetting at this point?
It was okay. It was upsetting a while ago, and now it's just like we're just fucking coming to terms. Well, honestly, we came to terms with it already, but now it's like Netflix actually came up and it initiated the breakup.
Yeah. Especially how many have watched season 2 of Punisher? Besides
I haven't touched it.
It's so good.
I've heard.
It pissed me off when I finished it. I was so angry, but it was so good.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know if I can even say I was bummed out or angry about what happened with Punisher season 2 or in Jessica Jones season 3, because the minute they announced Luke Cage being canceled, it's like, all right, this is done. It's done. Like, there was no point. And then the showrunner for Jessica Jones even came out and said after season 3, I'm done. I'm like, oh, well, then it's over.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy to see the dream is over.
Well, she announced that a little while ago because she was working on a different thing. But
now, I heard something regarding Punisher and the rest of these shows that I thought was interesting. Now, it could be inaccurate. This could be a rumor. Because the Punisher was not part of the initial batch of shows that was pitched, and it came from a spinoff, that it may not follow the same legal restrictions that the rest of them follow.
I have not heard that, but that could be because that would be interesting of how like the Daughters of the Dragons would be a spinoff, or.
But I can't see it being that microscopic a deal. I could see it just being an overall, like, here's the Marvel stuff and here's the umbrella deal covering any and all Marvel stuff that you do.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it just because like I haven't had the time, but I've been thinking about it over the last few days. Like, is this just the main characters that they have this deal with? Or, again, can they do a Daughters of the Dragon show? Can they do any of these things?
I think some of the speculation came from the fact that it was when Jeff Loeb did that big post on Twitter talking about...
he definitely left some open.
He left Punisher out of a lot of things he said. Regarding, where they came from and what was happening now, because he specifically wanted to mention, because he goes out of his way to mention the Defenders, which is also a spinoff.
Yes.
Yeah. But
the Defenders was part of that original deal, though. They announced that the day ago.
Yeah. That was part of the inception of these shows. Was that
like how they did the Hulu announcement that we'll get to? How there's was it Offenders?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these two stories are very, very closely connected. And so Hulu is producing 5 animated series with Marvel from 5 different people. I can't remember all their names. The one that's
Chelsea Handler's doing Dazzler and
which is an interesting
Tigra,
yeah.
Smith is doing Howard the Duck. Patton Oswalt's doing MODOK,
which makes me so happy.
The other one is the one I always forget because I don't know who the comedy writer is on it.
Oh, it's the Assassin Chimp one, right?
Oh yes, Hit Monkey.
Yeah, Hit Monkey. That's it.
He's like a Deadpool spin-off character, and I have no idea.
Whatever.
And then they're doing The Offenders, and now this also tied into the. Marvel created like a new position, and they hired a guy from College Humor, I believe, right? For the new media.
Yeah, I think so.
Which basically all of these creative people have worked with on College Humor before, like Chelsea, Patton, and Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I won't lie, I'm getting some major deja vu because we covered this on Comics.
Yeah, I know.
Like a week ago.
I mean, Alan, calm down.
I'm trying to plug my show.
Yeah,
I know.
It's not the time for plugs.
Alan, you being here plugs the show. What are you talking?
If your
show came from this one,
you see that show. Anyways, it's interesting, and I feel like the fact that they're doing these animated shows on Hulu really plays into a theory that Lou, you brought up months ago, I think, about Hulu being the new home for Marvel stuff.
Yeah, like because I think we talked about like Hulu or the Disney Plus would be like the for everybody thing, and Hulu would be like the more adult centric thing. Which these 4 animated shows are all very adult centric. Like Hitmonkey can't be anything but murdering. Having Kevin Smith doing Howard the Duck, and Patton Oswalt doing MODOK and Chelsea, like those 3 like comedy people, like 2 comedians, and then like a writer director.
This is also in conjunction with
perfect.
This is also kind of in conjunction with like an announcement, or not really an announcement, like a quote from was it Bob Iger who came out and said this regarding the Deadpool stuff? How they basically said like, yeah, we're absolutely open to doing R-rated Deadpool movies, and didn't get, and the response they gave wasn't like, oh, we may not, blah blah blah. Like it wasn't it didn't feel like a puff piece. It feels like, oh yeah, we're totally down to do those.
Because Deadpool makes a shit ton of money.
Yes.
Yeah, you confirm something I've been saying, which is they're gonna follow the money, and money matters more to them than public perception, which I've been saying for a while. They care more about making more Predator movies or TV shows and putting them on Hulu than they do people complaining about,
the quality of said items that they're putting up.
Well,
I also say that
I guarantee that a Predator movie made by Disney will be better or more consistent than the Predator output that Fox has put together, despite the fact that I did like the Predator. So
I was going to say, I think this also ties into what Warner Brothers has done with the DC app. So like DC dropped their app, and there was one show, and they did it like weekly, and then they added a second show, which was animated when that one ended, and now we're up to the third one. And there's been rumors that they've had not a great amount of subs, and it's something that we talked about before. It's like when you're creating these apps, Hulu is a kind of different animal because it's already established, but like you need to hit the ground running with like original content to bring people in. And as much as I do like that DC app, it's mostly comic books and really old shows.
Also, like, and I've been saying it since this kind of news broke, like, if you wanted to sell this service, and I know individual tastes on Titans aside, the initial widespread reaction was, the fuck is this?
Right.
Probably also, not a good idea to step out the door with.
Right.
And then continue to use that as like, go sign up for our service. It's got Titans. No thanks.
They probably got more subs now for Doom Patrol.
It might eventually have Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe. Come on. Come over.
At the same time, what if they had launched with Swamp Thing and Titans? Guess what? I would have subbed. I would have subbed for more than that.
Or they with like Titans, and it did 3 or 4 episodes, and then immediately had Doom Patrol. Started with a young, like had like 6 shows come out with it at once.
And as far as their comics goes, like that is still the thing that's supposed to lure into me. However, if I sign up just for the comics, I'm not going to read every single issue of everything they have in there. I'm going to read what I read. And honestly, on a day where I've got nothing to fucking do, I could probably get all that done in a day.
Yeah.
And then what would be my fucking $8 worth then? Like, I spent $8 on a giant comic book binge and nothing else.
Yeah.
No, what you do is you sign up for the free trial, the 7-day trial.
And then you read them all in one day.
That's exactly
Which I showed up when we had to do Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing wasn't on there. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sign up again. Like, I will never sign up for that DC app because
I'm sitting here wearing a Reverse Flash T-shirt. There's the fucking Batman curtains up. There's a Flash poster. There's a Reverse Flash plushie over there. I don't want their fucking streaming service. Like, I fucking love DC so much, and I could not care less to have that service.
They also are missing a ton of things. Like, they don't have Smallville's on Hulu. They don't have the 60s Batman.
They don't have.
Well, that show's a legal nightmare for mine.
Yeah, I know. That show is a complete like quagmire of legal bullshit. Because isn't it like a Fox developed but aired on CBS or something?
Well, okay, so it's before Warner Brothers really did television, and it was a period of time where television studios could just say, "Yeah, no, you have to make it through us, and we're going to license it, and we're going to hold it forever." Because fuck you.
Because I feel like I know Fox is part of it. Was like Fox the developer? But
they developed the show, and because at the time Fox didn't have a channel itself,
I feel like it aired on CBS, right? Or
it did, but they were producers and they produced the movie that came out.
But the movie's not even on there. The only thing that's on there of it I showed you was like some weird like talk show like roast, but with everyone's in character.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. They have this one Wonder Woman pilot that's fucking.
It's like a 60s.
But it's not the comedy pilot that they did.
It's in like a jumpsuit thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the woman is blonde because Wonder Woman, as we all know, is blonde. Yeah.
Do they have those fucking insane Shazam black and white
No.
No.
They have all the Fleischer stuff. Alan actually would know the most, but they have all the Fleischer stuff, like Superboy. They have like a bunch of like the really old shows. They have a bunch of the like all the old like every cartoon is on there that you can think of.
Okay, now that is almost worth it. The problem is like if I were to burn through that like an order of release, by the time I got to some of the stuff that came out in the last few years, I'd want to put a fucking gun in my mouth.
Yeah,
well, that and your 7-day free trial would be.
Yeah. They don't have the Batman shows. They only have like the Super Friends, all the Dini stuff, and then I don't think they have Brave and the Bold. They might have.
Oh, that's a fucking tragedy.
I think they have. What's that CG one that they did? That was one season on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do they have the Sid and Marty Krofft Shazam show on there?
I don't believe I can actually. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about. I could log into it and then see.
I'm just curious because everything I hear about this, it sounds like it's just a shit show. Like it sounds like they did not think this out well, and they're just like, well, let's put it out.
It sounds like they launched just to launch it to say like, look, it exists. Go spend money on it.
Yep.
They promised things that they couldn't deliver, which is a bad sign.
Yeah.
This kind of thing that you don't launch this unless you're actually able to at least like on the things you.
So
you know what's funny about that is that the WWE Network was announced back in like I don't fucking know, like forever ago.
1822.
I think earlier than that. Like it was supposed to be a channel devoted to nothing but wrestling content. And then they're like, it's coming next year. It's coming next year. And the reality was they're like, no, it's just the idea of what this is supposed to be is not feasible right now. So it just went quiet. And then finally they were like, no, we're in an age where you can have your own service and people, and they pay, a modest fee to get this fuck ton of content, and they waited until, I guess mid 2000s or 2010s to actually launch it when this was feasible. Right. And also they were like, we have, 40 years of content plus anything else we absorbed in the last, 20 to 30 we can throw on here. We're going to have like 100 years of collective content on here and then launch it then. And then we don't have to worry about adding anything ever. Like
Exactly.
I can tell you the random things they have. So they have all of the Dini stuff, Young Justice, the Green Lantern CG cartoon, Teen Titans, the Batman Brave and the Bold, Static Shock, the New Adventures of Batman, which is like a kind of, I think it was like a 70s, the Max Fleischer, Legion of Superheroes, that's all the cartoons. They have all of the Batman everything, movies, everything. The only Superman movie they have is the first one. They don't have 2, and then 3 and 4 are owned by Canon, and then they don't have returns either.
They're owned by whatever. They're owned by whatever Wright's house is holding on.
And they don't have any. They don't have any of the newer movies on there either, like the DCEU.
No, I think that has to do with like modern streaming rights, because in the same the WWE Network also can't put any of the like the current
Raw,
TV stuff on there. They are not permitted to do so because I think it somehow
Okay.
violates the contract they have with television channels.
Like with the USA or now Fox, right? Yeah, because they have a couple of the shows that were on CW's app that are probably no longer, because they have the Constantine, Birds of Prey, the 90s Flash. They have all of the old Superman shows, Superboy, Human Target, which was a Fox show. And then Wonder Woman and the Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Well, it's probably a lot of stuff that the rights lapsed for whatever reason it might be. Because, I mean, thinking about it, like, talking about Marvel, doesn't Netflix exclusively have a deal to stream their stuff for whatever amount of time? Because I can't think of any Marvel films I've seen on HBO anywhere.
They did a Disney deal when they all this Netflix stuff happened.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll learn a lot about all of that when
it expires.
Because that's the whole thing. Is like, if Disney, because people are like, oh, they're not going to spend that money. It's like, well, if they just buy out of the whole deal, then they could get all of it back.
Yeah.
Because if they create that Disney Plus, why wouldn't they want their entire animated catalog on there?
Wouldn't they want to just be able to be like, hey, here's all 10 years of Marvel movies?
Yeah.
Like right now, right here.
All 10 years of Marvel is their entire animated thing.
Yeah.
Like,
which just, I mean, it seems, going back to DC, it just seems like a huge misstep on their part to not be like, hey, I know nobody really liked it that much, but here's Justice League.
Well, it's also like, here's the thing, and like I think everyone can agree on this. The people that are running the boat between DC and Warner Brothers are fucking idiots. Let's just not sugarcoat it. Like, they have made public mistake after public mistake after public mistake, and there's been no grace and there's been no humility. And insofar that the fucking asinine, brain dead fucks who were the powers that be behind Justice League cashed their bonus and then left the company.
Yeah. And I just want to add as a side note, it sounds like, and I understand it's a little dog at your house, Connor, but it sounds like somebody has...
It's fucking homie.
It sounds like somebody has one of those barking dogs from Spencer's Gifts on.
Yeah,
that you have 2 AA batteries in, and they just
That's
walk,
what
walk,
he
walk.
is. He is
Bark,
just...
bark,
he is...
bark.
He is the Energizer dog, okay? He just fucking goes and goes. I think he probably heard me, and that's what he's barking at. He also, for some reason, he doesn't fucking like me. I physically carried him into the house the first day he was here in my lap. I babied him. I like him. He hates me. I don't know what I did.
Yeah, but what have you done for him lately? So
I fucking gave him food recently. I sat in front of his cage with kibble trying to bribe him.
Nope. But yeah,
I'll win him eventually. He won't win. He's tiny.
DC app is a disaster. Back on topic.
Wait,
they should have launched better stuff and more stuff.
Connor, forget about homie. Focus on Sally.
I focus on Sally every day, okay? Don't tell me how to handle my cat girlfriend. I am now introduced to people who are coming, like, today, actually, when the doctors brought their daughter to work. And she was like, that's Ashley, she's one of the technicians. That's Tracy, she's also a technician. That's Matt, he's a veterinary assistant. That's Connor, Sally's boyfriend. And I was like, hi! I was like, that's not cat hair on my chest. No.
Don't ever disparage my beautiful cat wife.
Yeah, don't ever. Our facial hair matches. All right? She's a calico and my beard's fucking red and orange.
Yeah. All right, so what was the next subject? I think we've kind of filtered off of this or swayed off of it a bit.
Now we're finally in the real news. We've just been in the speed round.
God.
That wasn't speed round. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, one last thing on Punisher and Jones or whatever. Like, yeah, they're canceled. Whatever. I don't know. It's. I guess we'll get them back.
Yeah, one more thought on that. Like, there's no emotions left to have on it. Like, it happened, and it happened in such a like a fart in the wind kind of way. Where it's just like it was just it happened. It's like, oh, there it goes. Can't do shit about it.
Yeah, and it looks like Netflix is just going to move on and continue doing superhero stuff. It's like, okay, I guess. If it's good, I guess. What do I care?
Here's the thing. And I guess to add to that, like, if it means that Netflix will turn to other properties outside of the big two to kind of elevate and turn into a bigger thing, then yes, let's do that. Because
they've already done that because there's Umbrella Academy. I think they have a deal with Valley.
Like, honestly, I would like to see something like From Hell turned into a TV show, like a long-form version of it, and not a 90-minute sloppy fucking pukey version of it done by those dudes who made the Book of Eli.
Menace to Society?
Yeah, like...
Same producer as League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, who made From Hell.
I didn't know that. I just knew it was those.
Yeah.
I can't remember their fucking names.
I've listened to a commentary with the dude. He's a bad man. He's not a good person.
He's a very bad man.
Wait, didn't Singleton direct the From Hell film? John Singleton?
No, it was.
No?
Hang on, I'm gonna look it up right now because it's bothering me.
Pretty
It
brutal.
was Albert and Alan Hughes, the Hughes brothers.
Oh, okay. I thought
Okay,
Singleton
yeah.
was involved in it for some reason. Maybe he was originally supposed to.
There's a story by credit for Alan Moore, but we all know how that fucking works.
Well, yeah, they have to give that to him. Like,
Yeah, and there's I think it's written by a guy named Eddie. Yeah, Eddie Campbell wrote it, and I don't know who the fuck that is. The point of the story there is that they did a very, very bad job of adapting that book, and I would like someone to take another stab at it.
Well, speaking of people who are really bad for the job, next story.
Have I ever said fuck Bryan Singer on this show? Because fuck Bryan Singer.
You're a little too old for him.
Yeah, he wouldn't want me. He wouldn't want me anyway. That was awesome. I'm free from his clutches. I'm likely too big. I'd be able to fight him off.
Yeah, probably.
I think he prefers his prey to be dainty and drunk.
I think he would go for Hunter though.
Hunter's kind of tall. He's a tall boy.
Yeah.
No,
Hunter would reach down and squeeze Bryan Singer's head like a fucking pimple.
True.
I mean,
but if you just look at Hunter's face, he looks like a young boy. So, like, I don't know.
I can't really say I'm shocked by this news. Like, after all of the bad press that was coming out about Bohemian Rhapsody, and
here's the thing: like, this is a weird thing for me to say. Like, I do kind of feel for the people in the situation who are like just trying to like get a business deal going, essentially, because this is movies are still a business. And being the people who have no stake in any of Bryan Singer's personal shit, who are like, we just wanted to fucking make a Red Sonja movie, and now this shit has to happen. So like, we have to make some kind of move, and it sucks. But at the same time, you should also have some awareness and go like, there was some bad shit that popped up about him like recently. Maybe we shouldn't do this.
Maybe find somebody like in 2019 that's can write a movie about like a female heroine. Yeah, that's not a dude.
And maybe hire somebody who can actually direct a goddamn action scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like have a background check.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like, I'm curious how long this deal has been being worked on, because it's
the rumors around him have been for forever.
Exactly. Like going back to X-Men Apocalypse when he had to step off of the press junket because of the pending litigation against him.
Okay. I did not know that because I wasn't paying this much attention to the news cycle and the inner workings of Hollywood then. I didn't know that.
Wait, he was that kind of Cosby circle of like rumors that like, everybody knew about. Same with the two, like especially the two of them because they were buddies.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I misheard you. I thought you meant The Last Stand because I was like, that means he had to step away from that. Because I was like, he did Superman Returns. That's why he wasn't doing that. Never mind. I'm sorry. I misheard you.
Apocalypse. Apocalypse.
That feels like a fucking decade ago.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was, I mean, mind you, now that more things have come out, it's definitely like, okay, maybe there was something behind that. But at the time, it was one of the most, like, I don't know, it was one of...
like a famous bad rumor.
And wasn't there stories about people on set being like, please don't leave unaccompanied minors around him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
my god! It
was around the time that the X-Men Apocalypse whatnot was going on that I first heard about what went on with the set of Apt Pupil, if I remember correctly.
I don't know anything about that.
There was supposed to be, I think, scenes where kids were in the shower, and it was supposed to be like, I think the main character, Brad Renfro, wasn't it? Isn't it? Wasn't he the main guy in that movie? He was having visions of them like going to the gas chamber, and the boys were all told that they didn't have to appear naked apparently they got told something different, and
Yeah.
a lot of them showed up naked, whether they wanted to or not.
Chilled into my spine. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I have an article pulled up, and it says the Atlantic quoted a man who was 13, who was a 13-year-old extra on Apt Pupil, who's quoted as saying that the director fondled his genitals without consent.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, there was a huge article that came out that like chronicled like 4 or 5 different people and some behind the scenes stuff about Bryan Singer. I need to find it again. Like I think Matt Curione shared it with some of the guys.
You know what's weird is that like you can watch a single Tarantino movie and go, that guy fucking likes feet.
Yeah.
But for some reason it took the rest of the world to look at Bryan Singer and kind of, who inside the industry and go, nothing to see there.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, he hasn't really directed that many movies with kids in them,
I suppose.
He has,
all those X-Men movies, there's like a scene or two with younger kids.
But,
he's not like Victor Salva, who directed Powder or what the fuck.
Oh,
Jeepers Creepers.
Talk about a way to fucking damage that film for the rest of my life, because I didn't know those two were related at all. I didn't know that guy made that movie.
Yeah, but now if you look at Powder is like a total pedophile dream movie.
Yep.
I don't remember Powder very well at all.
About a young boy who, with his touch,
hairless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it's something about like his mother gets struck by lightning while giving birth to him, and he has like fucking weird ass powers.
Yeah, he had powers through touch.
Yeah,
there's
a very naive.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Whoever was going to talk.
I was saying, like, I think there's like a man who's like abusive to people, and Powder touches him, and he stops being like a dick. Like, he stops being an asshole. Like, he soothes him just by touching him, by being near him.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember with that movie is when the guy shoots the deer, and then Powder takes the agony that animal's feeling and puts into the hunter. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, there's like a thing where they say, like,
monsters.
they're like Arlen said, like there's like a thing about like a young boy's touch heals all things.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I want to run away.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, just thinking about Jeepers Creepers, how there's like a scene, if I remember correctly, the one, is it in part 2 or part 1, where one of the members of the football team just like takes his shirt off for no reason, just like nubile, like 16, 17-year-old guy just taking his shirt off and just no reason whatsoever. And it's just like, what are you doing here, buddy? Why?
And here's the thing. And also, like, in regards to that guy in Jeepers Creepers, like, I'm angry because I really like the concept behind Jeepers Creepers. I think it's really fucking cool. I think that monster's cool as shit. And it's like, I can never sit through those movies ever again because I know they were made by a fucking child molester. It's like, it's not, and I would never pay for them, but I also don't want to sit there and just commit my time to it because.
As a child, they were too scary for me. So it was always on the list of movies. I was like, as an adult, I'm going to go back and give that another chance. And then I heard the stories about Victor Salva. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to go back and give him another chance.
And back to the story that we were talking about before we started talking about another famous child molester.
It's just so many.
Exactly. Well, it's Hollywood. I don't give a shit about Red Sonia. Like,
I mean, I do, I do, and I don't.
She's like Conan and like all the not
because if someone came out with like the right actress and the right director and the right trailer, and like if I looked at that and said all the pieces are fitting, I would say okay, I give a shit about Red Sonia. But like in the interim, like in my day to day, I don't give a fuck about Red Sonia. I barely give a fuck about Conan, but I love Conan. Like it's weird.
A good Red Sonia movie is like a mediocre Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah. My thing about Red Sonia is like lead to Conan, and that's my thing. Like anything for me that like might bring Conan back as a character after that 2010.
Holy fuck, man! You could have punched me in the face during that movie, and I probably wouldn't have felt it because I was too busy just being bewildered by that movie.
Well, side note,
the sad part is Momoa looks exactly like how
Yes.
the version of
Yeah,
Conan.
he looks like
Yes.
he's pulled off the fucking page. Like every time you see some kind of artistic representation of Conan, and then you watch that movie, I'm like, why are they running after? Why is that person in a wheel? And what is this villain doing? And like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not sure where the movie rights lie with Conan. I don't know if
I
you
think
know,
they're
Arlen.
fucking weird. I think we talked about this once.
Yeah, it's the
'Cause-
same.
It's like a whole bunch of weirdness because the original writer killed himself, so that left like a bunch of the
Yeah,
rights.
Robert Howard.
My
And
understanding is that because because Red Sonja is technically a Conan character, this is how they keep those rights.
Okay.
Um,
I wasn't sure because Marvel just recently got the Conan the comic book rights.
those are separate rights.
Okay.
Yeah, from my understanding,
Okay.
the Conan license is basically split into like entertainment mediums.
Yeah.
Is what I
Like-
understand it as. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like how in the '90s, like Marvel's like, yeah, we own the comics, but Sony's got Spider-Man movies and Fox has
Yeah.
fucking X-Men
Like-
movies. And shit.
It's the same way that like Todd McFarlane can have nothing to do with movies or television, but he can make the action figures for these characters.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
and
I
once they
wasn't
get into
sure.
his hands, he's like, I'm doing what I want with them.
Oh, he actually just got a DC.
Insane.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That being
I
said,
don't-
I have 2 shelves full of McFarlane
Oh
action
yeah,
figures.
his toys. Like, we talked about it on the And Now Comics like a couple episodes ago, and it's like, yeah, his toys are awesome. Like he like saved his company with those toys.
Yeah, like those are some of the most finely detailed, like gorgeous and horrifying looking just
Yeah,
designs.
I
On,
couldn't
on
remember the
any
line,
kind of
but I think I had Genghis Khan and who's the other one I had? Attila the Hun.
I've got his. They're called Lost Souls, and it's basically Todd McFarlane does Cenobites,
Oh,
and they are rad. They look like they belong in a fucking Hellraiser movie. Some of them are better than the Cenobites you see in the movies.
have you ever seen his fairy tale ones?
Oh yeah, they're
They're
fucked.
fucking awesome.
He somehow
But
got
they're-
the rights to make a Blair Witch toy, and he's like, "Look, it's the Blair Witch." I'm like, "That's not in the fucking movie."
That's not canon. Okay, yeah. Anyway, I think the last thing on Red Sonja is hire Lexi Alexander and the writer Nicole.
Yeah, and let her go
I-
full Punisher Warzone.
Actually,
Yep.
one quick side thing about Red Sonja. If I remember correctly, didn't Robert Rodriguez want to do a Red Sonja movie with Rose McGowan in the role when they were dating?
Well, she was in that shitty Conan movie.
Well, it started
Yeah,
off as
she
Robert.
was.
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. That was fuck Rachel.
No.
No, Rose
No,
McGowan
she
is
is
in
in
that
the
movie.
movie.
She's the witch.
She
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
She's a,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Well,
She
you
did,
have to remember Rose McGowan has like her face got really messed up in an accident.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, that was what I seem to remember hearing years ago was that Robert Rodriguez really wanted to do a Red Sonja movie with her when they were dating.
Yes. And then it became Eli Roth after, I don't know, Robert Rodriguez made too many Shark Boy and Lava Girl movies or what.
Got to pay the bills.
You need
Got
a
to pay the
lot of
bills.
money with those movies.
Yeah.
That one film.
Robert, we get you're doing what you want, but could you calm down? Never.
Rose McGowan played Marique.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was Rachel Nichols who I was talking about, who can't
Yeah.
seem to catch a fucking break.
Oh my god,
Nope.
I've never seen this movie, but Bob Sappa's in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The biggest human being in existence.
The biggest human being who can't take a fucking punch to save his life.
Well, he could in real life. Like in an MMA ring, he could.
No, not. Have you watched any of his recent fights?
Well, he's also like 50.
Like even from 10 years ago, I guess like his last like 10 or more MMA fights are all stoppages because someone significantly smaller than him starts hitting him and he curls up and taps out every single time.
He was never a good fighter. He was just a
Yeah.
gigantic steroid.
And then he makes this pained face that looks like a fucking baby crying. Like he sucks his lips in, like he squints his eyes as hard as he can. It's awkward looking. I'm like, you're like 400 pounds, man.
Yeah, but he can't move, and he did all of the steroids.
Fucking body slam that person.
I did not know he was in Elektra, and he played Stone.
Yes.
That is
Yes,
a
he
movie I have never watched.
He is in a
We're going to watch it someday.
He is in
Someday.
a Takashi Miike film called Izo.
Well, he's like huge. He still lives in Japan.
Yeah, they
just
think
That's where Bob Sapp is.
yeah, he's a freak of nature over there. But like he's in that movie and he gets cut in half with a katana.
And Bob Sapp is in one of my favorite episodes of Silent Library ever.
Oh God, what the fuck? I don't remember that show at all. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Well, I only ever saw it on YouTube. It's the whole thing where they have a group of whatever celebrities, I guess from Japan at the time, and they are in a library and they're doing different weird games. Yes. Yeah, they tried to do it in America on MTV and it was dumb.
That sounds really
That's why I remember it. Why? So basically they had a bunch of Japanese people in there with like Bob Sapp like walks on the corner and they all lose their minds. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's Bob Sapp and there are like 4 other dudes, maybe 5, and they're at a table and they're each picking like a card and the card will say a different game. Like one was what was it? Gentle neck bite. And
what the fuck?
And what happens is an old man comes out and pulls his dentures out and nibbles on one of the guy's necks. That was the loser. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Silent Library. It's
so
on
aggressively
YouTube.
Japanese. Like their game shows are just like it's psychological torture in disguise.
It's awesome. It's so
They
good.
do way too much stuff with eels.
Yes.
Or make like I can't remember what the fuck the show was. I couldn't. There's no way I can tell you what it was called. But like, if some kind of game show, and the penalty for losing was they just stick your face against this fucking plastic tube and make you smell horrible shit. Like someone burps into the tube. There's like onion grass or some shit stuffed up in there or something.
All you did was remind me of one of the very, very early Spike TV shows, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Okay, we do. Of course, I fucking love that show.
Baba Ganoush.
Yeah, Baba Ganoush. Fucking. It wasn't.
I can't.
There was always a character named Baba Ganoush, and there was like the most blatant sex puns I've ever heard in that show.
Yeah. And I can't remember, like the one guy is like one of the most famous actors in Japan, like ever.
Yeah, it's Beat Takeshi.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was called Takeshi's Castle. Yeah, he's a big dude over there. Yeah, that show's fantastic. I've always wanted to see the original run of that show, but I can't find it. And I think because of how the MXC rights work, because it was an American remake that was dubbed of a Japanese show produced in Japan, like nobody can put it on television or any kind of physical form.
It's all on Daily Motion.
Yeah. And Daily Motion is truly where TV shows go to die.
It's where I saw the Wonder Woman pilot.
It's where you go if you want to see Krull in 2 parts.
Yeah, it's honestly where you go if like YouTube's copyright laws are just being a little too strict. So you're like, Daily Motion will have it because nobody at Daily Motion gives a fuck.
Yeah, because I was just looking, I was like, oh my god, the like sideline reporter's name was Guy Ledouche.
Yep. That show's fantastic. Anyway, well, fuck, where were we?
I think we are out of the main stories and we can go into extras.
Oh, yeah, let's get sad.
Yeah, this is going to be a real sad time. Me and Lou are going to cry.
Yeah, we got to stay positive.
Yeah, we got to enjoy it. Yes. 818.
I said in the chat, I'm not too familiar with this guy. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen stuff he's been a part of. I just was never aware of him specifically. But it cannot be overstated that every time a comedian takes their own life, it is the saddest fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can't wrap my head around the idea that, like, you have spent your life, like, making people happy. Like, you're just giving them fucking the free gift of laughter. And you're just like, you're not getting enough in return to the point where you kill yourself.
Yeah, but it's also the point of like the need to go up on a stage and be the center of attention is like a thing that you need to do if you have like issues. Like a normal person with normal, and like speaking as somebody who's on stuff and like on mental like medication stuff, like your normal person doesn't want to go up on stage and like have people like do that. And he's the one that always talked about, like he was like what, 54?
Yeah, he was.
Like,
he was
he
up
talked about it for a while. He's talked about like the stuff with his like family growing up. He was like almost a professional baseball player at one point when he was in college, and he has talked about like he met with like tons of like huge depression issues.
Yeah,
and he was one of those comedians. Was a big LA guy. Did a ton of podcast stuff. Like my connection to him is mostly from listening to him on Rogan and like other podcasts I listen to, and he's just was ridiculous and funny.
Yeah. I know him mostly because knowing that, because a couple years ago, he kind of had like a very public mental breakdown. He like tweeted about it as it was happening, which don't do that. If you ever feel like you're having any sort of mental breakdown, any sort of emotional distress, don't record it in ways that people can see it publicly ever. It's a really bad idea. But he did that, and he like continued on after that. Like he picked him, and he just got on with life, and like he just lived, and he never really tried to like hide it or pretend that it didn't happen. Like he made a joke out of it. He made a joke out of himself, and he never took himself too seriously. And yeah, it was kind of inspiring for me, as someone who kind of had some similar things go on. So yeah, like he was kind of a big deal. So it really sucks that he's gone. I still haven't really processed it.
Yeah. Actually, aged him up. He was only 48.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, he was a guy, like, he did a lot of like warm-ups for shows. So like I pulled it up. So he did warm up for like The Man Show, Chelsea Lately, Jeff Ross's show, Jesselneck, Ridiculousness, at
Yeah,
midnight.
and like once I look at a picture of him, like I know I've seen his face somewhere before.
Yeah, he's in all three Halo movies, I think. Even the one in Bangkok somehow. I think
He was really, really close to Galifianakis. Like he was like, Galifianakis was like his champion, and it just never really happened in that kind of big Hollywood way.
Yeah, I also like, now that you mentioned Galifianakis, like every time this happens, like be it Mitch Hedberg, Greg Giraldo, Patrice O'Neill, fucking Robin fucking Williams. There's, after the immediate sadness, I'm always like, how do the people who came up with these people feel right now?
Yeah.
I don't imagine how that fucking feels.
Yeah, I imagine it's like losing a sibling, especially comedians. Like, there are comedians that get very, very close, and they share things with each other that they don't even share with their family members. Especially people who tour frequently. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It would honestly kind of be like losing some of you guys. So yeah, like it would suck. Yeah, I'm still processing everything about this whole story.
I think everyone has their one, and like I said in the chat earlier, I mentioned Ron Williams. I'm not over that still, and when I think about it, I'm like, God, fuck. What? Like, we're granted, like there were circumstances surrounding what happened to him that, while I wouldn't call it selfish, but maybe short-sighted, because his decision to do it wasn't like, oh, it's going to hurt me. It's like, no, it's going to hurt the people around me, because they're going to have to sit there and watch me decay, and just become a vegetable. It's still like you have given the world like so fucking much, and that was in no way it's almost like the universe wasn't going to be kind enough to you to let you just die in your bed somewhere at fucking 90 years old.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said for me, like Patrice is mine. It's like, and although he did not kill himself, but he kind of did, because he ate himself to death. Yeah,
and Greg Giraldo fucking had an overdose of prescription medication.
Well, yeah,
which like that's probably a little more self-induced than one might like to believe. There is probably like, oh, I can take this, I can handle this.
Yeah, it's
he also has addiction issues going way back.
Yeah,
so
that
made that extra hard.
That's the thing with like comedians, like addiction issues, mental health disorders. Like you can't. There's almost like no comedian that you can point to that doesn't have mental health or addiction like issues.
Yeah.
It's like part of what it is.
God, I remember right after Robin died, one of the first suggested movies was What Dreams May Come, and I was
like, no, I did watch that movie afterwards, because
it is an amazing vision of like, oh, Robin Williams is in like a very Dante's Inferno movie. You're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, he's in like heaven and to hell It's like, what
But
the
it's a
fuck
movie
movie?
where he dies 3 times, and I was like, I can't do this right now. I can't.
Yeah, like, and it's also it's one of the most like practically visually interesting ideas of heaven and hell I've ever seen, because nothing is too terribly abstract, but everything is exactly as you feel like it should be.
Yeah, it's
I
like
him running into his dad in hell, and he's like stuck in the floor, and like that stuck with me.
Oh, first
as
of
a
all,
child.
all those people stuck in the fucking ground is like, that's way worse than fire and brimstone. That looks like an isn't that all that's all purgatory though? Isn't that's the level of hell for people who kill themselves?
It's like a modern day adaptation of Dante's Inferno.
Okay, I never looked at it like that. Okay,
it's also a bit of Persephone. Also, he's
going to the underworld to get someone back.
And all the different torture kind of things are all visualizations from the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey Erik, you still here?
Erik?
Oh no, he went to purgatory.
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if you lost her or not.
No, you didn't lose me. I don't know anything about this comedian, and I'm just letting you guys do.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
He said he was like a comedian's comedian. Like he wasn't a super well known, but he was like everybody that's like Hollywood, like an LA comedian, knew him. So he was on every podcast. Like he's someone that you knew of if you listen to like.
Is he someone who, if exposed to, you'd go like, I wish good things for him?
Yeah,
like kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's not a mean-spirited comedian. Like
no, that was actually the opposite. He was a positive comedian because that's how he dealt with his mental health stuff.
Like one of his jokes would be like, for a moment he would become kind of a dick, but he was like, he had too much positive energy in him to hold that, to like continue the facade of being a dick. So the joke would break down.
You think about bipolar, like his comedic persona was like the personification of like the manic.
Yes.
He was like super manic-y, like in that positive manic thing.
Yes, that is right. I was in that film. That's right. I do drive a Toyota Tercel. Yes. Enjoy it. That was his catchphrase. And he would talk about the fact that he was from the Valley in LA, and that was like one of his running bits. And like the fact that he's like 818 till I die. I will still be living with my mother when I'm 60. Like, and like he would talk about these like very sad like concepts and ideas, and just like say some of them was fucked up shit, but in the most excited, like manic way,
in a way that it would be someone in stark denial that their life is falling apart, that kind of idea. Okay,
but he was also
fine as the building's burning down.
He was also kind of just that guy, because like when he was on Rogan, or I think I heard him on like Tom Segura's podcast, like he was just kind of, that was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, rest in power, Brody, and I hope his family members. I don't really know a lot about his family, actually. I hope that they are getting through it. I don't know. Living, I guess, surviving. I hope the people who knew him well got like a goodbye or something from, because he's the kind of person where you would want a goodbye.
He performed the night before, in LA, the Comedy Store, I think.
As someone who still has not had the opportunity to get some closure on losing someone that was close to them, if you have the chance to get some, please take it.
I just, the one quick thing I wanted to say, and I know Lou kind of mentioned it, but I've read enough books by different comedians to know that I don't think there's many comedians that are very happy, with the exception of Jay Leno and Jerry Seinfeld.
Well,
most of them are.
Jay Leno has more money than I will ever see in my life.
Even before he was filthy rich, like he was always just kind of a happy dude.
There's like things, if you listen to like interviews, he's a crazy person. Like he literally hid in a closet to overhear people in a meeting. Like he's not a completely sane person. Like, he is very rich.
You know what's funny about that? Not just to pivot real quick, like Laser Time, Arlen, you should listen to this actually. Laser Time recently did an episode of their mainline podcast, Laser Time. It's the entire chronological history of what went down between Conan O'Brien and Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that
it's
story.
fucking
I already know
fascinating.
it by heart because
Yeah.
I'm a giant Conan fan.
Oh,
so
it's fucking
I will
good.
listen to this. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff I
it
did
is.
not know, and I didn't know. Like, I had an idea that Jay Leno was being kind of shitty, but I didn't know that he basically went back on his word and was like, "Yeah, I'll take more money and stay. Fuck Conan." Like,
Yep.
and everyone else was like, "Will you fucking leave?" And he's like, "No."
And the fact
Like the network, being like, can you like, we'll give you more money, and he's like,
Well-
well, why am I going to take all that money?
It was. Go ahead, Arlen. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and the fact that he got away with it twice, that's the thing that still makes it a kind of amazing. I kind of got to give him credit for that, I guess. But
Well, it's something they bring up in the Laser Time episode is the fact that Jay Leno doesn't actually have representation. He represents himself.
There's like tons of crazy. He apparently never spent a check of his Tonight Show money.
No, he spends all of his stand-up money.
He would
Yeah.
tour like 4 days out of the week, fly back to do. He would like tour on the week or like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly back Monday morning, and then they do the Tonight Show.
yeah.
That ties into the fact that they made it a point to mention, like, you have more money than you would ever possibly need. Like, why are you doing this? But anyway, there's a couple extra stories. I don't know how long we all want to devote to each one of them. So you want to do what we normally do and kind of riff on them real quick? Because I haven't seen this Twilight Zone trailer, and I would like to watch it without having to come right back and do a reaction to it. Like, I want to digest it.
So we're at 2 hours, so I'm just going to read them all off, and let's just go with the one that seems most interesting.
I kind of really want to talk
kind
about
of
the
already
fucking
know
Hulk
which
Hogan
one.
thing.
That's this one.
Because I think everyone has a fucking opinion on this.
Yeah, I'll say one quick thing about Bly Manor. Then, Haunting of Hill House is getting a second season, but it is an anthology, and it's based off of a book.
Turning of the Screw. Yeah, Turn of the Screw. Yeah.
And I'm into it because I'm all in on Flanagan. So yeah, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Fucking give it to me. Give me all of it.
Yeah. Destroy me with your camera work again.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because I've said this before. Hill House was like his. It's like the kind of thing you end on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's his Fury Road.
Yeah, it's like it's a culmination of like years of work. Like, again, if you watched all of his movies, you like see like elements and things bleeding in from his other movies and themes that he's been working on for 10 plus years, all sort of culminating in, again, actors from all of his films stretching back to Absentia, most recently to the second Annabelle. It's really like the culmination of everything he's been working on. It's his Infinity War and Endgame. So I'm really curious to see how he
my
follows
Infinity
that up.
Game. My End War.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm curious to see what he does, and also like he already used the cast, that cast of people. So I wonder if he'll use the same cast or if he'll have to refresh himself. So that's all I have to say on Bly Manor. The Twilight Zone trailer was very good.
Okay. However, this fucking story. So Chris Hemsworth might play Hulk Hogan in a biopic. Now I understand there's a lot to unpack there because there is.
Yeah.
Can I be the first to just say this, that a Hulk Hogan biopic is not a good idea?
Like,
I will second that motion.
Because it's
not a
either
good idea, but I'm gonna be there opening night.
you have to skew this so fucking hard in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just looks like this movie's about a crazy person.
well, the thing is, like, all the really crazy shit all happened when he's way too old for Hemsworth to play him.
Exactly. Like you'd be better off making a fucking biopic about him destroying fucking what's it called, Gawker.
I don't know.
Really interesting movie.
I've heard stories just about, because I've heard other podcasts of other people talking about this. Like, he wouldn't let people get over, or is that what it's called?
So there's one instance of this I can talk about that is fairly recent, and there's video evidence of the person he deliberately fucked over making a fool out of him on national television, on pay-per-view no less. So you've all heard of Shawn Michaels, I'm sure. The Heartbreak Kid. He's one of the biggest stars of all time. He's one of the best wrestlers ever. He has every skill required to be a star in this business. So in 2000, I don't fucking know what year it was. It was when Hogan was still 2005. It was when Hogan was still able to work, but not able to put on a good match on his own. He's a fucking fantastic opponent. So he was supposed to have a series of matches with Shawn Michaels, and Michaels was going to play the bad guy, which was very much against type for his point in his career, where it's like, no one wants to boo Shawn Michaels. Don't give him a reason to boo Shawn Michaels.
It was very entertaining, though.
It is, because I think Shawn Michaels recreates one of his late night show appearances, part for part, and plays both the interviewer and Hulk Hogan. So they were supposed to have a series of matches. Shawn was, I think Hulk was supposed to win the first one, Shawn the second, Hulk the third. And I guess the day of the pay-per-view match, Hulk Hogan walks to the Shawn Michaels and goes, "Yeah, we're having one match and I'm winning. Bye."
Exactly.
And Shawn Michaels sabotaged the fuck out of
And then Shawn
match.
Michaels sabotages the match in the most glorious and satisfying way. He oversells everything Hogan does to the point where you're like, that's not real. He takes a punch, falls down, gets back up, twirls around on one foot, falls down again, and then gets up and jumps out of the ring. It is ridiculous. Yeah, I'll send the video to you because it's not long. It's short. And Hogan is furious the whole time.
He turns it on him. I've always loved Shawn Michaels, even though I haven't loved wrestling. So that's great.
That's because you can take with someone who's like, I've never seen wrestling before, and you show them one Shawn Michaels match, they go, that guy has got fucking it. I don't know what it is, but he has it.
His final match with The Undertaker, he trolled The Undertaker by dressing up like The Undertaker, but in all white.
Yes. Yeah. Also, those two matches with The Undertaker are two of the finest spectacle entertainment pieces I've ever seen. But a Hulk Hogan biopic has to cover so much fucking ground, and Hogan's story in the business is so weird and so inconsistent. And depending on who you ask, on what day of the week it is, and what the temperature is, you're going to get an entirely different reading on his personality because no one knows what Terry Bollea is actually like. This dude lives his life as Hulk fucking Hogan.
Except when he's on trial and he has to talk about...
He is one of these people who has refused to let go of the idea that wrestling has entered an era where people understand that it's not real and that it's fiction, and that these people are playing characters. And it's everything to him is gotta work them, brother. Gotta work the fans, brother. Gotta work the reporters, brother. Gotta work the media. Gotta work this. It's stop working people. It's not working anymore. Okay. His whole life is a fucking performance. Even if you tried to say let's do this night and day kind of thing where he's Hulk Hogan, all when people eyeballs are on him, but then he's a sad man when he's Terry Bollea in his room by himself. Because I don't believe he's a sad man because he's made so much fucking money fucking people over for 30 years that I don't believe he's ever shed a single tear.
And potentially fucking his own daughter. Hey.
Okay, and then there's that baggage where
the reality TV show, which is the only we've seen when he stared at his dogs from the dock where he was on the boat.
Are you going to devote 10 minutes to when Hulk Hogan's son put somebody into a vegetative state for the rest of his life and then went to go talk to his son in prison, and the only conversation they had were, well, he was a negative person, so he deserved it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or the sex tape thing, or when he referred to black people as the N-words and asked why his daughter has to date one.
The most interesting thing younger Hulk did was punch Richard Belzer.
Yeah. And didn't he get sued? Did he punch?
Yes.
No, wait. That's right. He dropped Belzer on his fucking head is what happened. And Belzer sued the shit out of him. Right? Yeah, because back then, he was also during the time when, wrestling's not fake. If you say it's fake on this live television program, I will get up and punch you in the face for real.
Yeah, Belzer was a reporter, a fake reporter thing, and was just schooling him on mic.
Yeah, and then Hogan dropped him on his fucking head. And you can see his head, dunk against a floor, and you're like, oh, that's not good. And then, I don't know, Hemsworth? Sure,
he's a good casting.
Yeah, sure, it'd be funny if this was a straight-up parody of Hulk Hogan's life, then yeah, sure, but a biopic?
I could see him I could see him pulling this off.
I can see him Hogan, but what's the story?
Yeah, well, so it's his origin story. It's his beginning, how he became. That's what they say. They describe it as an origin story.
It's the fateful day he ate the magical vitamins that turned him into Hulk Hogan.
I was going to say when the scumbag meteor hit behind his family's farmland and he touched it.
When the power of Hulkamania landed in his front yard.
Exactly.
It's like that new movie from James Gunn.
There was a being in the desert somewhere who said, Alpha 5, I need you to find me the big dude with mania.
Like I'm
He's going to be the Hulkamaniac.
He lived in Florida and he got hurt, couldn't play baseball anymore, and he really liked wrestling, so he started wrestling. Then he got really good, and he was big.
Well, then, okay. He got really good. Can be defined as he punched, he kicked, he talked, and that's it.
He was
guessing. I mean, if I had to guess, this movie ends with either WrestleMania 3, because I actually know what that means. Believe it or not. Or it ends with, I don't know, Hulk signing to WCW.
If you were to follow like his career, how his prime ended in the WWF at the time, it's being bear hugged to death by Brock Lesnar and then never being seen again on TV for several years.
I don't think they're going to go that far. I think that they end.
Which, quite frankly, I would pay top dollar to see that ending.
I mean, they'll never do that though. That's the thing.
I know. It's just like rah, and then like get credits.
It's weird because like the most exciting biopic I've seen in years is that new Elton John one. You want to know why?
Yes.
Elton John is not the kind of person who would just like clean up his own history. Like there will be a little bit of that, but he's the kind of guy who's like, I almost died that one time. I accidentally ate dog poop or something like that. Like he's the kind of guy who is not going to just like cover up his own past compared to a lot of the people who they're making biopics about who are still alive. A lot of them are willing to tell you the parts of the truths of their lives that make them seem cool and leave out all the stuff that makes them seem like not such great people when they were younger. So I don't know, like he's producing this movie Hulk. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of like the cool moments.
He's alive, so they have to. I was going to say the only thing I want to see is Hemsworth playing Hulk, playing Lover Lips in Rocky, and seeing who they cast.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing, though. Do they do the exact opposite with everybody who shows up in cameos? Like, do they make Stallone look the way Stallone really is, which is like kind of a narcissist? Yeah, that too.
Oh man, I wonder if Ed Leslie's going to be in this.
We'll see. We will see.
Like, who do they get? Like, do they go and do they have to like cast someone as Macho Man?
Like, and Ultimate Warrior, and Eric Bischoff, and Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And anyone else he had any kind of famous run-in with.
Who are they going to get to play Andre? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who they're going to get to play Andre is a giant question, actually, because I was thinking about do you God damn you, I was not intending to do that. Do you hire the Big Show and then put him in a suit?
No.
I think what you do, like you film him going to the ring and then you cut in real footage.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
You actually don't actually have anybody play Andre, period.
I feel like that's the most respectful thing to do.
The only thing you do with regards to Andre the Giant is have Hulk walk into a bathroom and there's a 15-pound dump in the bathtub.
Yeah, and here's something else about something else about wrestling movies that kind of bothers me. If it's not the wrestler, then whatever. But like wrestling movies, the few and far there are between that are based on wrestlers, usually documentary forms. Or like recently, there's Fighting with My Family about Paige. There's a certain level of dishonesty to them because the wrestling industry, its face, is very insincere because even when they're telling you, like, oh, yeah, of course it's fake, they're somehow planting seeds in the conversation that are still trying to work people over. Like, the whole industry is still, they're still trying to find ways to keep the curtain pulled back, pulled tight. So, like, and I think they change a bunch of stuff about Paige's story, mostly for cinematic reasons, but I'm sure there's also some stuff they didn't want to address. And like
that interracial threesome she had.
Well, yeah. There is also there was a Vince McMahon. There's a Vince McMahon biopic that was pitched. The script is online. It's bad. And at some point, there was supposed to be a Chris Benoit movie, which I've been against since the moment it was even talked about.
I don't see how you do a Vince McMahon movie and not have it be just like a bad version of Wolf of Wall Street. Because that's all it can be. Like,
you'll be like, wow, this guy's just like, what's his face from that movie? Except there's nothing about him that's endearing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Liev Schreiber was supposed to play Benoit.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, the thing with Wolf of Wall Street is that you look and go, oh, yeah, the real-life person learned a lesson and came out of that, a different man on the other side. You watch the Vince McMahon movie. I don't know if he did,
but that's...
Well, okay, but here's the thing, though.
That's up for debate.
But still, he had an experience that might have made him look back on some things and go, okay, maybe I acted out of line. You would watch a Vince McMahon movie and go, oh, he's still alive and he's learned nothing.
Yeah, also, the lesson would be the same.
He can't get his wife elected to the Senate. That's what he learned.
Right.
Yeah. Man, the look on his face when he realized how much money she spent.
She's secretary of what now, though?
Secretary of Small Business. WWE, that's small business. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we can wrap on that because we're running along. So,
yeah. You mentioned my favorite wrestling movie.
Let's put worst Disney to bed. To sleep.
Ready to Rumble.
No.
All right, we are at 2 hours and 20 minutes. So let's wrap this up.
Let's get the fuck out of this. So Movie Dumpster's back. We just recorded the episode for Punisher 1989. We liked it.
Yeah.
And it's got the sleepiest version of Frank Castle you'll ever see, where Dolph Lundgren is constantly looking tired, hungry, with big giant bags under his eyes, and he talks like this the whole film.
He lives in the sewer. Of course he's tired and hungry.
It sounds like he just wants a hug and a sandwich.
Did you guys talk about it? I think they were supposed to dub him.
Wow, they didn't.
I think originally they were supposed to dub over all of his lines.
Yeah, I didn't know that. We ended up liking it because it's kind of now it's become this like 80s action romp that's got lots of weird shit. Like, people have hidden bladed weapons everywhere.
Oh, like that woman's earrings?
Her earrings, her shoes, her wristlets, everything. And everyone in that movie is excellent at throwing knives. Yep. Everyone gets hit with a throwing knife. It just kind of reminded us of like old Arnold and Sylvester Stallone flicks. Also, it's kind of takes itself pretty seriously, so we liked it. And the guest for that show was the guy who does our art. His name is David, and he's got a comic book coming out. I can't remember the name of it right now, but he described it to me on the show, and it's basically a giant love letter to all the 90s excess that we saw in comic books that we were just talking about earlier. Oh, and somebody has boob lasers, and they have it's just Cyclops' visor against a massive pair of breasts. And someone has a shape-shifting beard.
So it changes into different styles?
It changes to different things.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll look up the name of it and I'll remember for next time. But yeah, that's that. Dragon Ball Evolution is out. I wanted to die whilst watching that movie.
I'm like 1 minute in.
It's really, really bad. It's not even a bad Dragon Ball movie. It's a fucking terrible film where nothing happens for over an hour. A movie based on a show where people scream loud, their hair changes color, and then they blow up planets was somehow a boring slog. Like, I don't understand it. And Lawnmower Man is, of course, out, and we liked that one too, actually.
It's a shame there was no King Kai in Dragon Ball Evolution.
Well, I do a fantastic King Kai impression on the recording, so...
Yeah,
we would have butchered him too.
No, I was going to say, because there is that quote that Connor made a while back of me being the Goku to your King Kai.
And that you'd be the death of me? And that one day I expect you to turn up in my house with a giant puffed up alien who's going to blow up my house? I didn't know where to put him.
Hey, King Kai, what should I do with
this? Oh, that's fucking fantastic. Go watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Anyway, that's my plugs.
Yeah. Watch Our Podcast comes out every single Friday. We are hopefully wrapping up our Oscars-based episodes. We recently released me and Erik Say Yours Better version of the Oscars, or Superior Oscars, as we called it. So go listen to that, where we fix the places where the Oscars just completely fucked up, because they did a lot this year. So go listen to our corrections on that show, and listen to the Monster Mash podcast, which might not have an episode this month. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
What the fuck, Erik?
God, I don't even want to look.
You did it. Oh, you stealthy motherfucker.
Okay. But yeah, coming out every month except this one, maybe. We'll see. So yeah, go check that out. Go check out our episodes of that's the plugs for me, I guess. Yeah.
Alan?
I was just saying, I think it's
Alan?
Yeah.
All right, so me and Alan did like 17
that's me.
So we every Tuesday on this channel, you can catch me and Alan rewatching Smallville. We just started season 3, which is actually a really good season. I've been like starting to binge it, and soon we'll have the second episode with Jonathan Taylor Thomas is going to be in a couple weeks. And then on Thursdays, we'd have And Now Comics on here, where we talk about comic books. Conor McGraw was on it one time. We talked about a shitty comic book.
Oh man, what did I talk about?
Doomsday Clock, which has been delayed, I think, for the 3rd or 4th time.
I already forgot I even spoke about it.
Yeah. And then we also have Legion of Toon, which is part of the Lois Haro podcast empire. That's like every Thursday. We just finished reviewing Young Justice, the 3rd season that's been on the DC app, which is actually goddamn amazing.
And
you have Lost Horror Games, right?
yeah, most recent episode we talked about Crackdown 3, Metro Exodus, and Far Cry New Dawn, among other things. So every Sunday or Monday, expect an episode of that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
All right. I'm Erik Fedorchak. You can find me at Erik_Fedor on Instagram. There's pictures of cats and dogs and food and comics. I'm also floating around the Phantom Zone. And I found this fun thing, apparently, that's a manga. It's not actually, it's not horrific. It's
just fucking bizarre.
Weird. It's called I Am My Wife, Gender Bender School Life, Romance. It's a salaryman was struck by lightning and went back in time as a girl. The past him still exists and is his classmate. His past self starts to fall for the girl version of him. This is manga
so like a reverse of like Back to the Future, except it's
someone spent way too much time on the Futurama joke of Fry being his own grandpa.
Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
On that depressing note,
yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and everybody should go see Dragon Ball Broly. Bye.
Yes. Don't take your vitamins and drink your milk, kids.
Hey, anybody want to move to Montana and do a whole bunch of math with me? Hey, man, let's go to Montana and do a whole bunch of math.
We gotta hunt the meth bisons.
So if you turn a light on in a dark room in Montana, do a bunch of like dew mouths fucking scatter like cockroaches?
That's what I was going to bring up. No, just Ted Turner with a shotgun.
All right, bye everybody.